We're finally here. Finally. I'm pretty sure you guys already was fully aware, those who've been following My Hero Academia, but I finally got through the dub because I don't really watch sub. But I got through the dub of season 8 of My Hero Academia, the final season, and I can finally talk about it. So, before I continue, please do me a huge favor and like this video, leave a comment below, let me know what you guys think. Uh, yeah, man, what a way to end the series. Great ending. Now, I want to get like two personal issues out the way because this season was so good that like only had like a couple of minor things. One, they kind of dragged on the extra, like they kind of pad out the last 3 episodes a little bit. I feel they could have at least condensed them. Uh, if you want to kind of like give like a proper ending, but or at least like an epilogue kind of thing, because it's kind of like not drag, it's still fine, but it feels like okay, like you only had like you had like a budget for 12 episodes, but you told the bulk of your story in like 8 or 9. So it's like, okay, what we'll do with these last few episodes? Okay, let's put some, you know, what's everybody's doing, and fast forward a few years with they all like the kids are all grown up and doing their own hero thing. Perfectly fine. Uh, and then the what was the other thing? Uh, well, I'll say the other part. Kind of like at the end. But by and large, it's not really a big deal. But I started pointing out, it's like, okay, this, could have done something a little bit different here. Uh, so while All Might, picking up where we left off from season 7, All Might is now donning and pretty much like an armor suit, like an Iron Man level suit of armor with components mimicking his students, Deku's classmates' abilities, in order to uh, maybe not stop uh, All for One, but definitely minimize his danger to everybody else, because of his rewind ability. Every time he exerts himself or utilize like a massive amount of power or takes a massive amount of damage, specifically the damage part, he has to utilize his power in order to heal himself, which reverses his aging significantly. So the fight is amazing. Definitely the art is just amazing. The use of the armor is amazing. I won't get out the way. The acting and all of it is just amazing. So it's just like a slugfest pretty much, where All Might had to use some bit of brains in order to outmaneuver and stall this guy and weaken him significantly, to the point where his threat is completely minimized. Uh, uh, but in the process, his suit gets damaged and he's kind of badly beaten, within. Pretty much being, held together by the suit, pretty much. It's kind of like, what was that anime? Berserker, with the main character of forgot his name, but his mystical armor pretty much like doesn't heal his body when it's damaged. It pretty much just keeps him together so you can keep fighting on. That's pretty much what we got here. But it's amazing. The use of his students that he admires, like Earphone Jack, Deku, Naval Laser, Bakugo. I'm not saying that explosion hellmarker, blah blah blah. I'm not saying all that ridiculous long ass name, which people like just you know let it ride because it's like I'm not saying that ridiculous long ass name. It's stupid, but it's still like there's great use of this armor, and he beaten back Awful One, even like using naval lasers abilities to kind of shoot like a particle beam, just blasting him down, just pretty much bombarding him down to the ground, holding like all these like tentacles to keep him like restrained, even allowing his legs to nearly get like pulverized, but using like the artificial tail, taking the brunt of the hits. He's pretty much like Darknet got him beaten, but he's now in like a little over toddler age, probably like 10 years old or so at this his age span is right now. So over All Might's pretty much like he's done, but thanks to the intervention of Stain, who used Blood Curdle to try to paralyze him to take out Awful One, but Awful One once again had to overexert himself more in order to break the paralyzation. Kills Stain, but not before Stain tells him to fight on, because he views All Might and Deku as like true heroes by the definition and not posers. The armor pretty much protecting All Might for like the death blow from Awful One. And while everybody's looking on as it seems like the prophecy by Night Eye is about to come true, where Awful One's about to rip All Might in half, Bakugo, thanks to the ninja dude revitalizing him, he blasts in supersonic speed using his explosions to rescue All Might from being ripped open. And his sweat that got into his mouth like gives him like extra like push pretty much. And before like the ninja guy had to probably sacrifice himself in order to revive the boy, Bakugo, and probably unprecedented in anime history, at least in my perspective. I'm pretty sure I could be wrong, but this is probably like the only time I've seen in an anime where a supporting character, the rival character, mind you, beats the main villain in like a crazy display of his power before he kills over from exhaustion and like in wounds. He gets a sweat glands inside Awful One's mouth, causing him to explode from the inside out, which pretty much end up reverting him to a baby form, and trying to, because he acted on emotions, because he's now being pushed to the freaking brink, and he's a baby now. He can't like fully form words, but he's just over emotional at this point because he's a baby. So he shoots out a bone dart thing, tried to like a last ditch effort to try to take out Bakugo, who we get a little brief little snippet of Awful One's like origin, where because his power manifested at birth, which ends up, because his power like is pretty much taking on powers through like absorption. I'm pretty sure maybe it was by blood or something like that. Irregardless, because of that, him and his brother was born at the exact same time, but he took up most of the nutrients, where the brother barely got much, but the mother ended up dying as a result. So it just it's always been him and his brother. But I love this bit where you actually see that to a sliver of humanity that was an All For One, he deep down, because you hear him actually say the words, he loves his brother, like, I love you, but it's like a warped sense of the word where he coveted his brother. Like, he not only just takes on powers or anything like that, it's just, or his, as he puts it, his brother's the first thing he owned that was his. But you know, it's just like a warped sense of his love for his brother. He took care of his brother, but he keeps his brother in like kind of like Mr. Freeze with his wife, in like closed off from the world. He makes sure his brother isn't like touched. That's his. Nobody goes near him. But just we see that little bit, and he ended up accidentally killing his brother when his brother was liberated by the second and third wielder of All For One. Oh, sorry, One For All. And it was kind of got the ball rolling. All For One sees the second wielder as like a manifestation of, or some kind of reincarnation into Bakugo. And you can see some similarities into this. And he points out that that guy in the past gave him so much trouble, he made sure he killed his entire bloodline, any relatives, even friends and associates that might be even tangentially associated. He made sure, probably futile maybe, because how you couldn't get everybody. He made sure he annihilated his bloodline. I'm not sure how 100% sure he was, let alone how 100% accurate it is in the manga. But that's what he said. So we're going to go by what he said. And he made sure that it was entirely wiped out just because he feels so rage towards this guy. But he sees him in Bakugo, so it's like, I hate you the most. Probably even more so than All Might himself, because you started this. You ruined everything. So Bakugo sees this guy's probably just crazy. He doesn't know what the heck he's talking about. He, in a crazy display of power, he takes him out, and because he, as a baby, tries to take out Bakugo catches it with his mouth, and that last display of effort reverses him to just nothingness, which is a crazy. You'll never see, like, I think the only time I see like a quote unquote baby murder was probably in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with like Dio causing, turning a woman into a vampire and causing her to eat her own child. That's probably the only other time I see that level of harshness in an anime before. But for all intents and purposes, at least the main All For One is destroyed. So now it's down to Deku and Shigaraki. And in their fight, Shigaraki manages to steal the essence of one of the wielders who had the danger sense, and now he's utilizing it against Deku. And Deku's pretty much just playing defense at this point, because if he touches him again, there's nothing preventing him from stealing all of the essences for himself. But then the second wielder came up with an idea where, all the wielders have to willingly give their essence to the next successor in order for it to be like a like an easy transfer. If it's forced upon them, or if their successor's body's not properly ready, the power becomes too much and their bodies kind of blow apart. They will, great callback by the way, where it's like, oh, we'll use that weakness against Shigaraki. If we force it on him, his body won't be prepared for it. Also, thanks to the American hero that got killed by Shigaraki in the last season, managed to, in her last effort, crack open the what be the a sliver of humanity that Shigaraki buried deep in order to pull through. Utilizing the plan, they managed to push that power into his spirit, where Deku managed to get inside his, Shigaraki's mind and see his past. The only essence left is Shigaraki's grandmother, the will she be the sixth or seventh wielder? I'm pretty sure it's the sixth wielder of All for One, One for All, and she had to look on in horror because she wasn't alive at this point, so she couldn't see what. She didn't realize she left behind the domino effect, because she was, as you know, she tries to, in order to protect her family while she trying to maintain course in her mission to stop All for One in her time. She doesn't want him to utilize her family, like typical villains would do, utilize her family against her. She tried to push them away, or like put them in like a safe distance from her, and figure her thought process was, I can I'll try to stop All for One right here, right now, in the last ditch effort. But of course, she would have died. But luckily, she passed on her essence to All Might before then. But she couldn't fully take out All for One in her time. And because of that, she ended up leaving behind a son who grew resentful of not only her but heroes in general, because he viewed like they're being irresponsible. They leaving behind families. She didn't care for him because she didn't come back, and she ended up dying. So he kind of, take that resentment out on his children, especially Shigaraki, who idolized heroes at one point, and he ended up, beating his kid, much to Deku and her and the grandmother's horror. It was like, oh my god, like, it was my fault. I should have came back for him, because he wouldn't have grew up to feel this level of hate. And he took that hate out on my grandson, who grew up to be one of the biggest villains in our time. So she jumped in to stop any more assault, even though it was futile, it was a memory. But this was the next step for Deku to come in. She used her last bit of essence to, step in for her grandchild, which is like an awesome display. It was very emotional in this moment, because it's like, how often do people who experience assault by a parent, which another relative can jump in and stop? It's like, I'm pretty sure it spoke very, loudly to a lot of people who probably would have been through this in real life. So it was like an awesome display, very well acted. The animation was, everything was played out very well in this. I felt that. That's what you want from anime. They gotta make you feel something here. Then, thanks to Deku, in the cost of his arms, got through to Shigaraki finally, which now leaves only an ember of One for All left in his body, which put him in a similar state as All Might was at the beginning of the series. Uh, but because now that all that is washed away, the hatred is melted away from Shigaraki, it allows that essence that was left by All For One to finally take hold. And now he took over the body. So now Deku's pretty much like temporarily out of commission, but all of his classmates, like mostly the classmates, aside from Uravity, and a couple of other people, but mostly the other classmates from UA, as well as a few of the teachers like Endeavor, Eraser, and like President Mike, and the black hole space cadet lady woman, I forgot her freaking name, all come in. Even like most people from that was like, you know, either they quit or even some people who are villains, but thanks to Deku brought, you know, like turned them around, all come in to back him up. It kind of reminds me of Naruto in taking on not necessarily Pain, but Madara, where, or even like against like well, yeah, I would go with Madara, but it's like, yeah, but to some extent even against like Sasuke. Let's see, all the allies and friends that he made along the way. We see that here with Deku, all backing him up, supporting him. You know, because it's like, even in the final fight, we even, because everybody's rooting for him, even like, you know, like All Might's master sidekick, Gran Torino, he's in the hospital, he's watching, and like other people around the country are watching, even like the president of the United States, making sure like, okay, this is our chance, we gotta help these people, send all of our heroes to go help assist in Japan. But we also get to see that, like, oh, cause look, good thing I reviewed the movies here, because I wouldn't have known. We even see like all the friends that Deku made from the 2 movies all come rooting. We see them rooting through the television screen. A nice little callback, nice, because we don't get to see that in anime at all, where you get like, you know, characters from the movies that they had also have some kind of cameo. We don't get to see that very often, if ever, in my mind, if ever. And it's a cool display, like, oh my god, this is like Avengers Endgame kind of like, oh god, yeah, this, like, all like behind Deku using that, you know, last punch to annihilate. Kind of, this is my like kind of a bit like also like kind of a nitpick here. I kind of wish we get like a big roaring United States. Deku uses his own version here. Technically, he calls it something else, Deku Rising or something like that. But I kind of wish it's like, I don't know, like either like a big roaring United States of Smash, or like United States Deku Smash or something, because it's like it's kind of like his Avengers Assemble kind of moment. It's like it's like good smash. It's just finally annihilate. Even Naval Legion makes sure because they propel him. Everybody's doing their part to propel him, sending him, blocking for him, like, you know, distracting. We see Endeavor and Shoto come in with like a big heat blast and just you know, distract him completely, like, you know, because this is like, he's confounded. Like, All For One is confounded. It's like, why is these gnats giving me so much trouble? What is going on? And it's like, it's Deku. Deku's like spurring them on. And even at the last moment, Bakugo, even though he is just like exhausted beyond, you know, and wrecked beyond belief, he with a good boost from Shoto, comes flying in to get that nice little boost from, like, one final boost of power from him into Deku to finally annihilate this sucker. Golly, that was awesome. This was an awesome season. Like, God, we don't often get like a good, satisfying, like, rip roaring final season of a big final battle against of a main villain. That was like, oh God, we don't get this very often. We get it, but I cannot remember, because like Dio's destruction was satisfying, but it wasn't this level of satisfying, because it feels so earned, and because we got to know so many of these characters over the years, where everybody come pulling in. It's kind of like Avengers Endgame, where you get to see everybody doing their part to take out this main villain. It only Avengers Endgame gives you this same level of feeling that this final season of My Hero Academia just gave. I never, like, this season gave me that exact same feeling I never thought I would feel ever again, that Avengers Endgame gave me. It just feels so, the payoff feels so earned. My goodness. Oh God. This was a deep seat in my memory. I was in my seat watching this on my TV. I was like, I'm just like, oh God, I feel it. Oh my God. I just God, I was like, come on, Deku, go. It's like I was there. I was feel like I was there watching Endgame again. Oh golly. It feels so, I feel so good about it. It's really good, man. We see the final essence of both the original wielder of One for All with his brother, and we see this little like moment that Deku, I don't know sure how inadvertently it was, but it's just like a last moment that he wanted the original wielder to have with his brother, because even though all the other wielders didn't have this kind of connection, the original did, because he deep down he loved his brother. But Deku, like him, understood he had to be stopped. This is the only way outcome they knew it had to come down to. This is no talk, no jutsu kind of stuff. It's like, no, you caused too much pain over the multi generations. And matter of fact, we see through Todoroki's eyes, not Todoroki, Shigaraki's eyes, that he was the manipulator of all of his pain. He got into his father's head. He caused him to kind of be so strict and so stern on his kids, that because he tried to cultivate this hatred to be like the polar opposite of what All Might stood for. He was the architect of all this stuff. That was insane. And I was shocked. Like, oh my goodness. This dude is, you talk about like evil. This dude was evil. This is insane. The only other person I can imagine being this level of like petty and evil is probably what was a character from Jujutsu Kaisen that took over the main character's body. That character. That character is like really like beyond like sick, but like I think him, Dio, and All For One, and maybe Madara is probably like the top 4 anime villains I can imagine. Is so sick and twisted and just beyond evil that it's just like it is just beyond. No pun intended. I was like, wow. But they finally stopped him, which, you know, we see like the aftermath where Shigaraki asked for like Deku, because kudos to the character, he didn't actually go on full on, you know, good guy or you know, understand his error of his ways. He still considered himself the leader of the League of Villains, but he acknowledges Deku as like the true hero that he idolized as a little boy come to fruition. And he tells him to tell Spinner that he fought to the end to cause as much destruction as possible because he saw Spinner as like a true friend, and vice versa. Which he does, kudos to Deku to actually go in there and allow Spinner to pour his emotions out and, say like, he's a friend, but he'll make this book about the League of Villains and Shigaraki so he won't forget. And which he does, was kind of like a bestseller for, inmates in the prison. We see, Deku's class and Lemillion's class graduate. They all become heroes and counselors and doctors and all this other stuff. Deku's a teacher. He doesn't have One for All anymore. It eventually did kind of snuff out, which is a shame because All Might held that amber for God knows how long. That was my other kind of criticism. I kind of wish that if you want to kind of make a good parallel, Deku should have. He kind of was, but not either. Deku should have been in the same, not in like in terms of injury with the gut situation, but it's like he can only utilize One for All in like for like an hour or something like that. He can be in the same state as All Might was when he first met him. But no, he doesn't have it anymore. I guess eventually kind of left his essence. All the previous wielders finally was able to pass on officially. So there's only All Might and Deku, the last ones left. So Deku's now like a teacher of UA. And All Might, thanks to the woman who was like the inventor from one of the movies, built like a pretty much like an Iron Man suitcase. Mind you, the creator of My Hero Academia is obviously a big superhero, fan, especially American superheroes like Spider-Man and clearly Iron Man here, and of course a big Star Wars fan. He pretty much like gave him the kind of like Iron Man briefcase from the 90s TV show / Iron Man 2, which is like immediately I just thought of that. So I was like, give him back his like abilities, like kind of like a what do you call it? Kind of like substitute all for like One for All powers. And in the same color scheme and design as his original costume. And now Deku's pretty much like kind of sort of mentoring a new, like the new age Deku, this kid with like little white circles on his hair kind of thing, who pretty much like looks up to Deku and All Might the same way Deku looked up to All Might. And now all his classmates are pretty much idolized. So, and the show ends with Deku going with his friends to stop another crime. Oh, which by the way I want to point out, which crazy moment here where when this young kid who is clearly his orphan, or at least abandoned after his powers kind of manifested, and I guess his grandfather's kind of supposed to have looked after him, but because he manifested his powers, he locked him away until the place was dilapidated, and he escaped, and now he feeling like abandoned, and like anger is manifesting. An old woman held out her hand to give him some assistance and be kind to him, and this is the same woman who ignored Shigaraki in his time of need, and it's the same woman, and now because she did not realize it's the same kid, that she in a way kind of didn't show that same kindness, and she's like, man, wonder what that kid was up to. And I kind of wish I kind of stepped in, because he seemed like the kind of kid that needed my help. Let me extend some help for this kid now. And it's like, oh my god, and it kind of nullifies, kind of like stop a chain of events that would kind of spur on like another Shigaraki, because her and a couple of people stepped into, asked this kid, does he need help, showing some kindness. Thanks to Deku and his friends' influence, they changed. I won't say they changed the world, but they definitely like spurred something on in the populace where they don't have to just rely on the heroes to, oh well, some hero will step in. It's like, no, y'all can do something. You don't need powers to be a hero. You can offer a helping hand, be understanding. It's like that was like a great display. It was greatly written. I love that. I just want to point that out before I end the video. This is like an amazing season, amazing final season, nice wrap up. I can't sing his praises any further. Oh my god, this will remain. Matter of fact, outside of maybe one season, or maybe like half of a season, I'm pretty sure I mentioned that in one of my previous reviews of My Hero Academia. But by and large, this series has been phenomenal from start to finish. I'm not saying I didn't have any certain issues. I made sure I pointed out when I could, so you can check out my previous reviews of My Hero Academia seasons. But all in all, this series has been top notch. Top notch all the way through, man. My goodness. Greatly written. The creators should be extremely proud of themselves. All the writers behind this anime should be proud of themselves. They did a phenomenal job. It took a while, but the time they took was greatly used. Like I said, my personal nitpick, I think they kind of padded out the last couple of episodes more than necessary. Oh, don't want to forget also about the last moments with Shoto and his family and their brother that is locked up and all burnt up to hell. And nice little more moment where he tells Shoto his favorite food, which is the same that he shares with him, and he says he's sorry. A nice little display here, and I like this level of maturity in the writing here. Not everything's all hunky dory, like with the little Spinner and Shigaraki. Even with one of Shoto's older brothers, the second born brother, tells his father straight up, this doesn't change anything. I am getting married soon, but I'm not gonna invite you to the wedding. You're not even going to meet her, which is like understandable, and the father was understandable. Like, hey, like I'm not gonna, that's my cross to bear. I will bear it, and I won't stop apologizing, for any of it. Which is understandable, but so mature. This is the most mature writing I've seen. I mean, like, I think the East tends to have the most mature writing, because this is how you cater to all ages here, and not just like a fraction of a community, where you can put a kid down and they can take this and like handle it. It shows like this is mature writing that any age can, well, I won't say any age, but like age 5 plus could probably, to some degree, take this on and grasp it. Like, not everything's going to be hunky dory, but you can handle certain things maturely. Like, there are certain things that you understandably cannot forgive, but you can make room for forgiveness, if that makes sense. Because you make mistakes, and certain things that are so big that you'll have to work your way to for that forgiveness. It's not going to be like a quick fix like most shows would probably try to make. But man, great writing. All of it has just been phenomenal. But let me know. I'm curious to know what your guys' thoughts. What do you think about the series as a whole? But what, especially about the final season, what you think? And I will see you guys in a little bit with some reaction videos that I've been holding off. But I want to get through my reviews that I have stacked up for today out the way, so I can get through my reaction videos. But I will see you guys soon. Take care. Peace.